Okay, we are live. Welcome to this English lesson where I am going to go through 5 common mistakes that native speakers make. Now, this is a live message, so feel free, if you're watching this after the lesson, to check out the live comments because I'm going to be reading some of those out. I'm also going to leave a comment with some of the most useful phrases from this lesson so that you can actually learn from the mistakes that native speakers make. And the reason I'm making this video is to highlight the fact that everybody makes mistakes. And I'm also going to talk about the reason why these mistakes are made at the end of the lesson. Now, we're going to start off with an easier one for you to spot. Because what I want you to do during this lesson is to spot the mistakes. I'm going to show you a sentence with a mistake, and I want you to tell me what the mistake is. So I'll give you some time to think about it. I think the first one is quite easy. The last one might be more difficult. And I'm very interested to know if you feel like these mistakes are obvious or if they are common. Because there are certain mistakes that native speakers make and certain mistakes that learners make. So, before we get into it, I'm just going to check to see if people are here live. They are. Diego is here, Safana, Nabil. We have Murathia, Timea. And Murathia says we are mistakable, which I like. We are mistakable. So, if you are new here, my name is Jack from tofluency.com. Be sure to check out the description because you'll be able to subscribe to my lessons. And also, if you subscribe to my email lessons, I'll send you my book, The 5-Step Plan for English Fluency. And it goes without saying, if you are new, subscribe to this channel. So again, we're going to talk about the 5 most common mistakes that native speakers make. So let's get started with number 1. Spot the mistake. It is on your screen now. So, what is the mistake here? I'm going to share it with you in 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's your. So look at the correct way to say this or to write this. Your. So we need that apostrophe in there between the you and the are. You're very funny. You're very funny. So you can see the difference between the two. This one, like I said, is a little bit easier for most people to notice. Now, what's interesting is nowadays on your phone, if you type that into your phone, it's going to change it automatically for you if you have an English keypad on your phone. Because I'm lazy and I know when I type Y-O-U-R in the right context, it automatically changes to the correct way to say it. You're very funny. Now, here are some more examples of this. What you're telling me is very strange. Second one, you can see what you are. So it's the contraction of you are. Whereas the last one, I love your earrings, is possession. Your earrings, it doesn't have that apostrophe in it. So, what you're telling me is very strange. What you are telling me, and I love your earrings. The reason why people make this mistake is because the pronunciation is the same. Your. It's the same. Just like there, and there. There. Okay? So, that is the reason why this mistake is made. Okay, so Dulat got this correct. So did Safana, if we are checking the chat. Dana says, hello from Kurdistan. I'm really glad to be here with you. I am glad that you are here too. American accent hacks. So true. I think our spelling is getting progressively worse because of spell check. It's dangerous. Yeah, it's also a way for us to learn from it too. So if you learn from the spell check, it can help you overcome these mistakes. But you do know if you just type stuff into your phone, it's going to automatically change that for you. Now, I wrote a blog post very recently on my favorite 7 apps for English learners. And one of them is this advanced spell checker. So I'll leave a link in the comment section and in the description for you all to check that out, because I think this is one of the best apps you can have as an English learner. Also, just for anyone who is writing in English, I use this app all the time. It is fantastic. Hi Jack from Russia. I've just finished watching your video on Instagram and now it's started here. I'm not going to sleep tonight. Yeah, check me out on Instagram. Just search for @tofluency. Also, please let me know what the connection is like. Is the video okay? Is the audio okay? Please let me know. Okay, are you ready for number 2? For number 2. Let's look at it. It's going to be on your screen now. I make less mistakes than I used to. I make less mistakes than I used to. Spot the mistake. I'm going to share it in 3, 2, 1. I make fewer mistakes than I used to. I make fewer mistakes than I used to. So what we're talking about here is the difference between less and fewer. And a lot of people get this wrong. I sometimes get this wrong too, because everyone uses less more often than fewer. People use less more often than fewer, and they use less when fewer should be used. I'm going to show you some examples now, and then I'll explain the difference. So, look at the first one. I have less time these days. I have less time these days. Second one, they have fewer students this year. They have fewer students this year. Now, there are 2 ways that we can explain this. The first one is countable and uncountable. Now, I know a lot of students hate the difference between countable and uncountable. But with uncountable nouns, we use less. With countable, we use fewer. I have less time these days. They have fewer students this year. I'll also leave a link to a different type of explanation, which talks about how it's singular versus plural. Because when we talk about countable and uncountable, there are exceptions. As you know, with English grammar, there are rules and there are exceptions. Because we can see in this last example on your screen, I have less than $100 in my bank account. That's how we would say this in a natural way. I have less than $100 in my bank account. Now, this is countable, but we use less. So there are exceptions. Usually the exceptions are things like money and distance and those types of things. But I'll leave a link to an example of this. But the original example, it's not I make less mistakes than I used to, but I make fewer mistakes than I used to. Gemma is here. Thank you for joining, Gemma. Dulat says, I now make fewer mistakes than I used to. So Dulat, you have 2 out of 2, which is great. And Careda says, exceptions confirm the rule. That's right. Exceptions confirm the rule. So we have rules, but there are always exceptions. Thank you for the kind comment, Nada, and also Suhaib. So if you are enjoying this lesson, then please like it, and also share my channel with your friends. Okay, are you guys ready for number 3? Number 3. Spot the mistake. This one is very common. John and me are going to the concert. John and me are going to the concert. What is the mistake in this sentence? 3, 2, 1. John and I are going to the concert. John and I are going to the concert. Now, in a second, we're going to look at a sentence that a lot of native speakers get wrong. A lot of speakers here make mistakes with this. But the whole idea here is a subject versus the object. Okay? So, John and I, subject, are going to the concert. John and I are going to the concert. Now, here are some more examples to help you understand this. Did you see John and me at the concert? Did you see John and me at the concert? So here, John and me, this is the object. Did you see John and me at the concert? Second one, Kate and I are going to the theatre. You can see a picture of a lovely theatre there. Kate and I are going to the theatre. So you can clearly see the difference between these two. You'll hear a lot of speakers say, did you see John and I at the concert? But that's incorrect. Did you see John and me at the concert? Whereas Kate and I are going to the theatre. So that is a very common mistake that people make. I see a lot of people get this correct. So Lolly, Karadis, Magix, Diego, Gary, Dulat, Angela, Krishna, Dana. Very good. So a lot of people spotted that mistake. Like I said before, there are certain mistakes that native speakers make versus English learners. It's kind of interesting to see that. Okay, we're going through these quite quickly, so let's get to number 4. Spot the mistake. I do it every day. Do it every day. Ready for the answer? In 3, 2, 1. I do it every day. So this is a spelling mistake. I do it every day. Again, very common. You'll see this all the time, that people make this mistake. I do it every day is incorrect. One word, instead it should be 2 words. I do it every day. Now, a great sentence to help you remember this is the first one. I learn everyday English every day. Now, everyday English is a type of English used in daily life. Common English. Everyday English is common English. So I learn common English every day. And every day, second type, is like saying daily. I think the second example will help you with this. Wear fresh underwear every day. I think this is good life advice. Wear fresh underwear every day. And the last one, don't wear your everyday clothes to your interview. Don't wear your everyday clothes to your interview. Wear a suit or wear something formal. But I love that first example. I learn everyday English every day. That will help you remember the difference between these two words. Lots of people are getting this correct, which is great. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Good. So we can understand those mistakes. Yeah. Angela says, when I'm just typing, I will often make this mistake. Yeah, it's common. It's common to do that, especially when we are typing on our phones very quickly. I'm not sure if most phones will change this mistake for us. Don't know if that happens here. Okay, I'm going to leave my favorite one for last. This is my favorite one. And this is one that is very confusing for a lot of people. I'm sure you're going to do well with this one. Okay, spot the mistake. The woman laying down the grass. Woman is laying down on the grass. And it's strange because when I hear this, it kind of sounds correct. It sounds quite normal to me, but this is a mistake. Woman is laying down on the grass. Okay, I'm going to show you in 3, 2, 1. The woman is lying down on the grass. The woman is lying down on the grass. I'm going to show you what it means, or what lay down means. Look at your screen. Look at the picture. The book on the table. You can say, lay the book down on the table. But it's more common to say, put the book on the table. So, lay the book down on the table means the same thing as put the book on the table, but the second one is definitely more common here. Put the book on the table. It's a good example to show that lay down or lay the book down on the table means to place it or to put it. So we need an object to lay down. But if you look at this picture, the cat's lying on the computer. The cat's lying on the computer. Now you probably know this is the same as, or it's the same word as saying he's lying, not telling the truth. Cat's lying on the computer, as you can see in the picture. But if you say he's lying, it means he's not telling the truth. Third example, need to lie down. Well, you'll hear people say, I'll change this. Need to have a lie down. Need to have a lie down. If you're using that as a subject, as the noun, but I need to lie down is used a lot. And then the last one, I was lying in bed when? I was lying in bed when I heard that noise. I was lying in bed when you went live on YouTube. Lying in bed when, this is actually a true story. When my wife and I were in Spain, we were lying in bed when somebody just came into our apartment, sat on the end of the bed. It's a long story. It was very strange, but we were lying in bed when somebody came into our apartment. That is the difference between lie down and lay down. You can just say lie. Well, let's check the chat. Yep, a lot of people are right here. Lying, 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 lying. Robson says you are the best teacher. It's amazing. I'm watching your lesson in Portugal. Let me know where you are watching this from. Miles says, "Hi Jack, can we rewatch this live later?" Yeah, you can watch this live lesson later too. Go back to the beginning. Alan says, "What's up, buddy? I think you need to make a video speaking faster." Yeah, I make different types of videos. Check out the 10 conversations my wife and I have had that we recorded for YouTube. So go to my channel and check those videos out. We have Wenzo here from Brazil. Nabil from Dubai. Wow. So let's just have a quick summary of these common mistakes. And then I'm going to give you a couple of tips about this whole, or how to overcome mistakes and what making a mistake really means. So the first one, "you're very funny," is a spelling mistake. We need that apostrophe to make it "you are." And the reason people make this mistake is because they sound the same. The next one, "I make less mistakes than I used to." I make fewer mistakes than I used to. And again, I'll leave a link to a great explanation about this difference. "John and me are going to the concert." It should be "John and I are going to the concert." And these two examples are important. Did you see John and me at the concert? Kate and I are going to the theatre. "I do it every day" is "I do it every day" with the space. "Woman is laying down on the grass." Again, this just sounds correct to me. So many people say laying down, but the woman is lying down on the grass. The woman is lying down on the grass. Okay, so those are some common mistakes. And Malika just has a question whether to lying down and to be lying, not telling the truth, sounds the same. It does. Yeah. He was lying while lying down on the sofa. So he was lying about something while lying down on the sofa. So exactly the same there. Exactly the same. Okay, there are 136 people watching this live. If you are watching live, then please give it a thumbs up. Please click that thumbs up. But we're just going to talk briefly now about making mistakes and how to overcome. Firstly, as an English learner, you are going to make so many mistakes while speaking, while writing. It's just going to happen. And it's very important that you don't let the fear of making mistakes put you off speaking or practicing. So it's important to know that you are going to make mistakes. And like I have just shown you, native speakers make mistakes too. So it's very common for a native speaker to make mistakes. And these are 5 of the most common mistakes that native speakers make. I make mistakes all the time. There's nobody alive who doesn't make a mistake. Now, something else that's important to know is that some mistakes are generally accepted. So when people say lay down on the sofa and have a break, it's kind of accepted that that's okay to say. People understand what you're saying. People make this mistake all the time. There was another one that I talked about on Instagram Live, where I was talking about the fact that in America, people say the idiom, "I couldn't care less." Instead of "I couldn't care less," they say, "I could care less." And I'll just put this into the live chat, okay? I couldn't care less. So that is an idiom to say, I don't care. I really don't care about this. Or I have no interest in this at all. For example, if I ask somebody, "Did you watch the big boxing match at the weekend?" Couldn't care less about boxing. Couldn't care less about boxing. I have zero interest in boxing. But you'll hear people in America say, "I could care less." And this is one of those things that doesn't make any sense to me. Because logically, I could care less is the opposite of I couldn't care less. But it's kind of accepted that it means the same thing. So is this a mistake, or is this just a difference between British and American English? So some mistakes are different to others. Another important thing here is that there are regional differences too. So if you are in Northern England, especially in a place called Yorkshire, terrible Yorkshire accent, but instead of hearing, I have, or he has been treated terribly, okay? He has been treated terribly. You'll hear, he has been treated terribly. He has been treated. He has been treated. And this is just the way people speak, the way people conjugate that verb in Yorkshire. And you'll see all these different regional variants of accents, grammar, and vocabulary and slang. So you will see these differences. Sometimes the differences are more informal. Sometimes they're just the fact that there are differences. But another important point here is to know that there is standard grammar. So there is a standard grammar out there. And there is a difference between British and American grammar, but there is a standard grammar out there. So for example, if you are going to take the IELTS test, then you should use standard grammar. Standard grammar, which you can find in dictionaries, online dictionaries, and just online in general. So there is a standard grammar, but there are differences too. So when we talk about mistakes, sometimes these mistakes are accepted. Sometimes they're just because of differences between different regions. But also sometimes it's informal. It's a really interesting subject here. So, don't worry too much about making mistakes. You want to learn from them as well. So as an English learner, you are going to make mistakes and you do want to learn from them. Some are more obvious than others. Some are more important than others. But it's also important to note that yes, native speakers make mistakes too. Elisa just says, I hate IELTS. I hate IELTS. Do you have to take it? Do you have to take the IELTS exam? Let me know. And I'm trying to translate that word, that name into English. It's not Oleg. But anyway, I wonder if I make all of these mistakes, if it means I'm going to become a native speaker. That's funny. I love that. Yeah. Make these mistakes and people will think you're a native speaker. Okay, any questions while I'm here live? Please send me in your questions. Now, a couple of announcements. I made a video last week talking about 5 tips to help you learn English fast. Please go and watch that video. Those tips are really important if you want to increase the rate of your progress. So if you want to improve your English at a faster rate, it's something we all want to do. Whenever we learn something, we want to do it quickly. So I'm learning the guitar again. I want to learn these songs quickly. It's good to learn things quickly because if you make no progress, then there's no motivation to continue. So it's important that we learn things quickly. Or maybe a better way to say this is we learn things more effectively. So to be effective, to use our time in the most effective way. Okay? So that's important to do. Wow, Eliza has taken the IELTS exam 10 times. No, I understand completely why you don't like the IELTS exam if you've taken it 10 times. So yeah. How can I be more confident in English and think more in the language? Thinking more in the language. I've been meaning to make a video on this for years, or I've been wanting to make a video on this for years. But I've been waiting to really be clear with my thoughts on it and my advice. And I'm starting to get there because I talked about this in my Instagram video today. And I mentioned the fact that it's important to learn collocations. It's important to learn phrases and to not translate single words from your language into English. And instead, to have these phrases and collocations and to have lots of repetition with them so that you can use them naturally and in a flexible way. So I'm going to make a video on this soon, and I'm going to start writing down my thoughts on it and sharing these thoughts on Facebook and on Instagram, and to get your feedback so I can make a video. But yeah, to think in English, you can't translate word for word. You have to be able to just use the phrases and collocations in the right way. TG has a question. How will we know if we make a mistake if we work alone? Fantastic question. So if you are practicing on your own, how do you know when you're making a mistake? So go to my website or search on Google for To Fluency English Apps, or go to tofluency.com and read the latest post I made. I'll also leave a link in the comment section because there is an app that you can use for writing that shows you grammar mistakes as you are writing. I think this is one of the best apps you can ever get as an English learner or just as a writer. I use this all the time. It shows me mistakes that I make. Sometimes it's a mistake, sometimes it's an error. And there is a distinction there. Mistake is when you know the reason why you do something wrong, but you do it wrong anyway. It could be a spelling mistake where you just type it incorrectly. An error is because you don't understand it. So it shows you your errors and your mistakes. So go to that blog post and get that app. Get that app. Should I listen when I don't understand anything? That is one of my how to learn English fast tips. So watch the latest video I made on how to learn English fast. Can you make a video about everyday small talk, please? Yeah, that's a good it's a good idea. You know, videos on phrases that we use in everyday life and small talk. Now, small talk is when you say, "Hey, how are you?" "Good, thanks." "Where are you from?" Or "How are the kids?" Well, "This weather's terrible today." Everyone does it all the time. So I will make a video on that. I like it. Lolly says, "I'm motivated. I study hard every day, but I don't make progress. I don't know why." Well, you might be making progress without knowing it. I repeat, you might be making progress without knowing it. When you have a certain level, it is difficult to really notice the progress that you're making. So it's important to know that. But also, sorry to say this again, I apologize, but watch my last video, how to learn English. Okay, everybody, I am going to end the lesson there, but go through the description and the comment section after I finish this video so that you can get some of the resources I talked about and look at the phrases. Go watch this lesson again so that you can repeat it a little bit more. And like always, like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on the notification bell. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me in the lesson today. I really hope you found this useful, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye for now.